Okay, so this is going to be my Penn State Michigan State preview. Penn State's 4-1. They're coming off of a bye week, but before that, they had a very mentally defeating loss to Ohio State, 27-26. Michigan State is coming off of a loss at home to Northwestern, a loss by 10, 29-19. Michigan State is 3-2 on the season. Overall, they haven't really lived up to preseason expectations. They were expected to probably be about a top, 15 team. Probably expected to be undefeated going into this game. Obviously, they're not. They're 3-2. They lost to Arizona State, and they also lost to Northwestern. It's a little bit of both, in my opinion, between the amount of injuries that they've had and just the fact that they're not living up to the expectation. I think a little bit was last year. I think they had a lot of things that were working for them because teams really weren't. They were kind of catching teams by surprise because they were horrible in 2016. So it was kind of the reemergence of Michigan State. Where this year, I think teams are more prepared. They kind of know what they're doing. They know the receivers, they know the quarterback, they know how to stop it. I think a little bit better. But at a glance, Michigan State, they're struggling to establish a run. They're missing two, three of their main offensive linemen. They've been out, or there's been games where they've been out, so they've been struggling to create a good run. LJ Scott, their main veteran running back. They have other running backs. He's not the only one, but he's probably their best one. He's been out for the last 2, 3 games, I'm pretty sure. And they had Cody White. He missed the last game. He's not going to be playing this game. They've had Darryl Stewart Jr. He's been out. Really, the only receiver they've really had that's been healthy has been Felon Davis. He's had a decent year. He's their best receiver, hands down. But they've been able to pass a little bit. They've been able to run a little bit, but they've been able to pass more. But if they're not getting open, Lewarke can't make those plays. Lewarke's been good and bad. He's a good quarterback, but if they're not getting open, and you don't have anybody that you can throw the ball to, you're not going to be able to throw the ball and make completions. And that's the problem that they're kind of facing. Defensively, Michigan State, they're very, very good against the run. They're amazing against the run. They're number one in the nation. They're only allowing 33 yards a game. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that against not Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders and Trace McSorley. Probably that's going to be the biggest challenge they've had all year, keeping McSorley intact and Miles Sanders intact for the whole game. Their pass defense has been absolutely horrible, though. They're allowing like over 300 yards a game to teams with quarterbacks and receiving cores that aren't even nearly as good as Penn State's on paper. Penn State, they've struggled a little bit in the passing game. They've been decent, but there's been games like the Pitt game where it's been rainy. Same thing with Illinois. They haven't been great passing nights. And Penn State's had a lot of drops this year. McSorley's only completing 53% of his passes. And it should be close to 60, I'd say, if they've been catching the ball like how they should be. Ohio State, he had almost 300 yards. I think in this game, you're going to be looking to see Penn State being able to take advantage of that subpar Michigan State passing defense. There's a lot of ways that I can see this game going. I can see Penn State coming out and really just laying it on Michigan State. I can see them coming out, beating up on a Michigan State team. Michigan State's secondary can't handle Penn State's receivers like Jawan Johnson, Hamler, Tompkins, Polk, tight ends Holland and Fryermuth, and they just can't stop it. And then they have to account for Sanders and McSorley. They haven't seen a running back duo like that. We are able to make some success in the running game as well, and they just really can't stop us. And then offensively, they really can't get much going. The receivers aren't getting open. We're getting a decent amount of pressure on Lewarke. He's having to throw the ball away or just take short little pass gains or even just get sacked. And we ended up rolling like 38-14 or something or 45-14, and it's just a blowout. But I could also see it being like how it was last year. Last year, Penn State lost to Michigan State 27-24. The main reason why I think they did. Now, that was a shootout game. And you go 27-24, that's pretty. That's not a shootout. It's not. But my thing here is that that game, each team probably could have had 10 more points, but for turnovers and just missed opportunities in the red zone, each team probably left about 10 points on the board that they probably should have gotten. So 27-24 probably is more like 38-35 in the skies. Neither team, pretty much both teams did the exact same thing. Neither team could establish a run, but both teams could just pick apart each other, you know. And I think it looks like on paper Penn State should be able to do that this year. Penn State's pass defense hasn't been great, but it's been decent. Um, I think that last year Penn State wasn't able to get any pressure on Lewarke, and they weren't able to cover for long enough amount of times. And Lewarke was able to have enough time. He was able to hit his receivers, and he pretty much had probably the best game of his career, honestly, against a top opponent like Penn State. And they were able to pull off the upset. And Penn State did kind of sloppy. It was an away game. I think that the general consensus this year is that, with the guys that Michigan State has out, are they going to be able to get open at the receiving position and be able to keep pace with this Penn State offense? That's the main question in this game. And that's the other thing. See, like, my other lean is that, Lewarke, he's going to be able to make his passes, or we're going to have a hard time getting pressure maybe. We're going to have, they're going to be keeping us off balance a little bit. Maybe they're going to have a little bit of success in the running game. We're going to have to account for that, and then they're going to be able to get open more in the passing game. We're going to have a hard time getting pressure, and then maybe as the game goes on, we do settle and we're able to stop the run and get more pressure. But they're still able to make their passes and pick us apart, and it's going to be like a 38-35 shootout, and whoever, wins, it's pretty much a toss-up. Overall, though, I honestly do see it kind of being somewhere in the middle. The line is 13.5, I think, 13, 14 points. Most teams, I think they're saying that, like 34-20, 35-21, with the over-under being about 54-55, somewhere in there. So I'm kind of along that too. If I had to make a prediction, I would say Penn State, they have the most success any team's had against Michigan State against the run, but they still don't really produce that much. Miles Sanders doesn't reach half a century of yards. I'm in like the 40s, like what he did against Ohio State. I think McSorley's going to pick up about the same. They'll be around 100, I think, in the rushing yards area. I think he'll pick up a lot of yards on plays where our receivers aren't open and he's able to, use his legs and get the first down. Then I think our receivers are going to be able to get open routinely against a subpar Michigan State secondary and be able to keep drives alive, keep drives moving. I think we should be able to put up points. I think defensively, I would say we're going to be pretty good against the run. We might have some kinks to work out in the beginning of the game, but I think overall we're going to be able to get better as the game goes on in that aspect. And then I think our rushing defense should be able to be. I think our passing defense, I think we're able to get a decent amount of pressure. I think we're going to be able to handle it. I think they don't have all the receivers there. I think if we can kind of double team Felon Davis, kind of keep him out of the game, that might leave a couple other guys open to make plays. I think Lewarke's going to make his passes here and there, but I think we're going to be able to cover well enough and be able to get enough pressure to be able to prevent these, long drives and them just being able to pick us apart like how they did last year. I think they're going to be able to score, but I don't think they're going to be able to score enough. I got 35-24 Penn State. I don't know how it's going to go. I just think 35-24. I was going to go 38-24, but I'm going to go 35-24. Preseason, I said 34-24. One more point. I don't know. But before I would like to go, I would like to give a shout-out to Gunnar Orth for everything he does for me. And that's a wrap. Peace out.